This episode of PromoAM is brought to you by Promo Corner. Want to support a sales campaign and reach a larger audience? Raise your brand awareness with content sponsorships. For more information, contact sales@promocorner.com.
Good morning and welcome to PromoAM. I'm your morning anchor, Amelia Madl, and joining me today is Kathryn Hinckley. She is an international business development leader with more than 28 years of experience, and Kat has specialized in core principles and developing fundamental behaviors to achieve transformative results for her clients. That is a mouthful, and hopefully with some of my questions, you can tell everybody what that means.
I was thinking that sounded like a mouthful.
Yeah, dumb it down for me. But how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being on here and joining me today. You have a lovely scenery behind you. It looks amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I see videos of people doing things outside, and I thought, I don't do it for my program, but maybe for an interview, I could change it up a little bit. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. It's 90 degrees here, so I was not going outside today. Sticking to the cool. Okay, yes. So I had some questions for you kind of about your program. So for people that don't know, you had been doing or have been doing a week, not a weekly, it's a monthly series called BuildingU on Promo Corner that goes out on Promo Journal.
Yes.
So how did that come about? How did that segment happen?
So really, I started doing videos on Facebook years ago, and my story, my development really started with emotional intelligence and developing personally that way. And it was, I'm not a young little chick. I'm a hen. So, the fact that I was learning some amazing things in these later years in my life, I thought to myself, maybe other people would like to hear it. So I just started doing these videos, and actually an executive from Promo Corner had seen them. And during the COVID, thought that instead of just specific industry information, they'd want something that could build them as a person. And they asked me to do the program as a value to their customers and contributors and followers.
Awesome. And it was, because I watched you every month religiously. Even if I couldn't catch you live, I would watch you. So
thank you.
You were doing the videos, but before COVID, you were also a hairstylist on top of all this. You make, I think somewhere in your bio, it said you make try to make people beautiful inside and out, something along those lines.
Yes, I've been a stylist for 30 years. That's how it all began. Actually, I was bullied as a child. I was an ugly duckling, and children are horrible, and it's hard for children. And as I grew, I had gone to college. It didn't really sit well with me. I went to hairdressing school because all I wanted to do was help people to feel better about themselves, which years later segued into this personal development and being able to help people find their most fulfilling life. So yes, I'm still a stylist, and that's what I do every day.
That's awesome. Did you find yourself giving a lot of that advice? Because, hairstylists are like our therapists. They know all of our secrets and all of our skeletons. So did that kind of
that's in the description. Yeah, that's the description, right? As a stylist, then you have to share everything. I'm very, very fortunate that I have clients that recognize that my career was broad, so I had what I had with my fingers in their hair, but I also had a business. Mm-hmm. And they allowed me to practice on them. When I write programs, my programs aren't used just on the people that I write them for. I have to practice, and it's not a natural thing for me. So, repetition is key. And my clients were so generous, and I have a lot of executives, and they would let me practice my content on them, and they'd give me feedback. And it's funny because I don't know if you ever heard confirmation bias is that thing that happens in your head. If you ever bought a new car, you see that car everywhere that you go, even though you didn't see it before then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's confirmation bias. So once you're thinking of something, it's in your head. So behind the chair, because I'm thinking about the content that I'm creating, conversations tend to go there, and it hits triggers. And then, that's what you do. You give advice anywhere you can if they're willing to listen.
That's awesome. And I heard you say that, and I was like, that is so true. Every time I get a car, I'm like, nobody else has that. And then even in my little small town, I'm like, oh my God, everybody else has the same car as me. How did this happen?
Yep. Because you're thinking about it.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, super tough question. I didn't put this on your list. Two of my favorite segments that you've done are your episode 8, tips for fixing those hair and eyes, and then episode 9, insecurities and jealousy. So I needed to know, because I did a special brow thing. Are my brows on point? Did I frame my face correctly with my brows?
Dude, you are spot on. You're gorgeous to begin with, but man, those brows do make a difference.
They are so blonde.
Well done.
I look in the mirror and I think they're too dark, and then I turn the camera and I'm like, and I still can't see them.
Yeah, brows are everything.
Okay, that was my free advice, my free beauty tip for the day.
No, you did great.
So my other question, we kind of talked about this, things had slowed down for you. Obviously, salons were closing and you couldn't get out and meet with clients. But now that things are starting to open back up and people are getting back out there, and we're getting really back to the hustle and grind, because we're really wearing a lot of hats as people are running really lean. Do you have one piece of advice that you'd give folks to kind of maintain a level of gratitude?
Absolutely. And when you sent me that question, gratitude is one of my favorite words. And it seems like it's easy, but it's not an easy thing. And it gets lost in the shuffle. And one of my life lessons into my program, my last program next Tuesday, I'm actually going to be sharing 5 of my life lessons to building a better you. But my favorite, it's kind of an affirmation that I learned back in college. So this thing's 30 years old, right? And it's the affirmation, be here now. And honestly, it's just a matter of finding the silver lining. I think that COVID, more than anything, taught us that anything can change in an instant. So if we go forward, we forget things. But if we try to really keep, again, that confirmation bias in the forefront of our mind, that there's a silver lining in everything. Even in COVID, it was horrible in so many ways, but it allowed us to, slow down in ways that we wouldn't have any other way. It allowed us to maybe spend time with family and loved ones, to be able to focus on us. There's so many things that are positive happening around us all the time, even when we don't think that there is, that if we are conscious and mindful of looking for those things, they're there. So every day is going to be better, and we're going to be aware of how to live a better life. There's a quote that I had heard. It's an unknown author, and I had seen it when I was young, and I never forgot it. And it says, contentment is not the fulfillment of what you want, but the realization of how much you already have. And it's so true, because we have so much that we just have to realize that we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Take a look. It's funny how fast things can turn. I mean, this has been going on for a month or a year and 3 months or so. But in the beginning, everything slowed down and we all kind of appreciated that, like, breath, family. I was playing games with my kids every night. And then after a few months, I was like, oh my God, you guys have to leave me alone. So it's funny how you can change pretty quickly. And now we're going back, and then it's busy again. So there's a lot of movement, but you have to kind of take that time, like you suggest, and center and have gratitude for what you do have and have appreciation for.
Absolutely.
Be so much worse, no matter what your situation, they could always be worse.
Amen.
Okay, so my last question for you, again, now that the world is kind of opening back up and your monthly segment is coming to a close, if people want to reach out to you or follow you, are you doing stuff on social media again? Is there a place that they can go so they can still get your great content?
Absolutely. I always do things on Facebook. It's not, a regular show or anything like that, but I'm constantly putting videos out there. Keep in mind this, my business, Mosa Method Consulting Group, is a company where we focus on developing businesses. We help with a very strong underlay of emotional intelligence on how to build management. But my videos on Facebook, I mean, you can figure out what the length of your toes say about you, or how to find the proper fitting bra. So, I mean, there are some random videos.
I need to watch that one. I'm going to go
join
search
me on Facebook. I'll send that for you. It's awesome. But anyhow, my information is always just information that I learned, because we all learn from somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I put it back out there for people that may not have learned it the way that I did. So I'd love for people to join me. My Facebook is Kathryn McDonald Hinckley, but I will be doing my last show for Promo Corner next Tuesday. So I'd love for anybody to join me there.
Absolutely. And so people can watch on promocorner.com. If you missed the live content, you can go to Promo Journal's page. I love that you take the knowledge and reshare it. So much time we hear it or we see it and ingest it and we're like, oh, that's cool. And then we do nothing with it. So if we don't know it, somebody else probably needs to know it too, or somebody else will enjoy it. So I love that you reshare your knowledge. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Kat. Make sure everybody tunes in. That is is it next
15th.
Thursday? The 15th.
Next Tuesday. Yep.
Tuesday, the 15th that Kat's last BuildingU will be on. So thank you, everyone. This is going to do it for us today. I'm Amelia Madl from PromoAM, wishing you a happy PM.
Thank you, Amelia. Take care.
Thank you.